us into our last parameter, which is form. Now, form I think is pretty intuitive for students to learn, and so I can just sort of move through this a little more quickly. But form refers to the way that sections of music are grouped, organized, and or repeated in the song. So students always like to talk about the form of a song because it's very natural to how we hear music, and the terms used for form are pretty natural to the way we talk about music. Now, on a broad level, form is really all about the balance between variety and continuity. How do things come back that sound the same and part of the same song versus what changes so it sounds like the song is developing? Generally speaking, the song will have a sense of change or development, but also remaining recognizable, like something comes back, the same verse or chorus that you can recognize. Now, in popular music, we refer to the distinct sections of a song as being modules. So if you hear me use the term module, it's just a sort of fancy music theory way of saying section. The most common modules in songs are the verse and the chorus, which are in virtually every song, followed by pre-chorus and bridge, which are in many songs but not all, and then other modules like solo, instrumental, or a break that are also possible but appear more rarely. We can mark a song's form using letters, things like V1, verse 1, PC, pre-chorus, C, chorus, etc. So here are some examples in breaking down each module that we just talked about. First, we have the verse, which should be familiar to us. The purpose of the verse is to advance the narrative or the setting of the song. So the lyrics change between each verse, which means that that's what lets it sort of introduce new ideas or new context. The verse lyrics are usually wordier, which makes sense because they're advancing the narrative, and have a narrower melodic range, so you can really focus in on what the vocalist is saying, as well as less motion overall. When you get a pre-chorus, the purpose of the pre-chorus is to ramp up the energy from the verse into the chorus, sometimes literally in terms of building the dynamics and energy, other times more narratively and figuratively, introducing some aspect that's going to challenge the stasis of the verse. Often this is emphasizing a different chord than the verse, like I demonstrated earlier, and the texture tends to build dynamically to arrival at the chorus. That brings us to the chorus, where the purpose of the chorus is to be the high point of energy in the song. The lyrics are usually going to stay the same between each chorus and often contain the title lyric. I think we're pretty familiar with choruses, and the purpose is just to be sort of that high point in energy that you can really just jam out on. The bridge tends to be the connective section that breaks up repetitions of the chorus and sort of bridges from a chorus into another chorus. The purpose is mainly to provide contrast. A lot of times you have a bridge that will drop in energy and then slowly rebuild, or maybe it changes the mood by changing key or supporting a different chord to start. Maybe it changes genre by having, for example, a rap break within a sung chorus, etc. And then one last term I want to present here is the cycle, which is a complete series of sections that occur before the sequence more or less starts over. So the most common cycle would be verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Then usually what happens after that chorus is you go back to the verse, but verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, and so on and so forth. Other cycles are possible, such as like verse directly into chorus, and then verse, chorus. But whenever you start to get that sort of repeat of the same sequence of modules, that completes a cycle and moves on to the next cycle. And with that, we're done with our quick flyover of 6 different musical parameters that you can use and talk about in listening closely to the music of different genres that we'll be exploring this semester. So I encourage you, as you listen to music of various kinds, on the radio, on Spotify, in the playlist of this course, try using these ideas to describe the music that you know and love, and what is it about that music that is really special to you, that's really significant. I think, especially as we do more listening over the course of the semester, you'll really find that these parameters come in handy to sort of put words and articulate some things about the music that you really love that maybe before was more unknown to you. I also will be providing a song analysis video each week, focusing on one of the songs in the Spotify playlist from one of the artists that we study, to really bring out how you can use these exact parameters, the same terminology that I just covered, to really listen closely and get the most out of a track that you might be listening to.